Fit Body Forever community, what's up everybody? Welcome back to our sit to stand assessment overview. We're gonna dive into this here real quick. I am gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see, and then we will show you a video example of how we are gonna perform the sit to stand test. This one, along on the score sheet, as you saw earlier, let me flip back to that really quick just so you can see exactly where I am talking about. On our score sheet here, you are gonna have your grip strength assessments, and then when you flip it, you will see the sit to stand scores on there that we are gonna utilize, and it will look just like this one here on the right. We are going to ask our clients, you can test them all at the same time, or if you're splitting the group in halves, half are doing the grip strength, the other half are doing the sit to stands. Doesn't matter to me as long as everybody can assess at the same time. You are going to ask them to 3, 2, 1, go. They are starting from the standing position. They are going to sit down completely, unload, stand all the way back up. These are the two rules that we have going through this is you have to completely sit down and unload your weight onto the chair, bench, box, whatever you're using. And then you have to completely stand up, lock out your legs all the way to the up. Little cheats, they bounce off the box every time they come down, or they don't fully stand up. They just lock out their knees while they're still forwardly tilted. These are little cheats. They're not doing it on purpose. They're just trying to go as fast as they can. And unfortunately, these don't count, okay? So sit all the way down, plyo box, a bench, chairs, whatever you want to utilize is fine by me. Ideally 16 to 18 inches in the height. Your standard bench that you would see inside a gym is about 18 inches. The the yellow plyo boxes from Torque, those are 18 inches. Like those are pretty standard across most heights when it comes to benches and boxes. That is for the most part pretty good for anybody over, I would say 5'7". If they're under 5'7", a 16-incher would be ideal. Now, you have a 12-inch box, as you can see, the orange ones there, the Torque, I think a lot of us have those. That, along with 2 AirX pads or anything that's 4 inches in height, would get you to 16 inches. Anything that you can do to have consistency in the sit to stand and just mark it down on there. The score, 30 seconds, how many reps, and then the height of the chair. Was it 18 inches or 16 inches, okay? That's what we're looking for. After that, you can look down below and see their sit to stands, male, female, their age bracket, how they did compared to the national average standard. All right, now with that, we are going to look at a little example here. And again, I'm going to call on my dad. My uncle is also in this one as well. Now, you'll see my watch pop into this here in a second, but they are doing the assessment perfectly. At this point in their training, they had both done the 30-second sit to stand. They had beat their scores, and then we had built up to, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes and you do as many as you can. Now that's a more advanced assessment, but that's why the clock is going as long as it's going. So you're gonna ask them to start in the standing position. So they will be, as Uncle Kurt is here, there. We're gonna say go, you'll sit all the way down, unload, stand all the way up, 1, all the way down, all the way up, 2. Again, with urgency. They're not turning and burning as fast as they can where the technique is garbage, but they are trying to go as fast as they can. When you say 3, 2, 1 time, as long as they have left the bench or the chair and they are in the up, count the rep. That means if I'm seated and the timer goes off, it doesn't count. But if I am ascending, if I am going up, then we can count it. Now, this is a key component. So when you're done, where people get really confused is if you just start yelling out, Steve, Bob, Alexa, Janice, if you just start yelling out names and they start yelling out scores, people hear the scores and they forget theirs. This is a short memory loss component that does come for most people in the moment of like an urgent test or assessment like this. So they will forget their numbers, okay? So what you want to do is go stop or time or whatever it is, and then walk up to the very first person. Tell everybody, don't move, just stay where you're at. And walk up to them and go, what was your score? And they'll say like 11. And you go, okay, write it down, go to the next person. What was your score? Like literally whisper right next to them with each one. So they can't hear each other's scores and they recognize, okay, I just need to stand here and not move. And I need to pay attention. I can't hear what they're saying. So typically everybody stops. If they all start talking to each other or start yelling, people are going to forget. And you'll always have a person that goes, oh, I didn't know we were supposed to be counting. So right before we go, I say, you are counting, you are counting, you are counting. By the way, who's counting? And I have all them look and they all go, we are. And that way, that's just one more obnoxious attention to detail where they go, oh yeah, that's right, we have to count. Okay? And then I'll be like, 3, 2, 1, go. You are counting. I'll even say it again. So we really want them to do this and not have to come back and go, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to count 10. And then they just say some dumb crap like that. So this is one of those little like troubleshoot coach components that comes in. You'll be surprised how often it happens, right? I promise every time we do it, somebody recognizes that they didn't know they needed to count. All right, get the score, chart it down. You are good to go. 8 weeks from now, we will do it again. 8 weeks later, we will do it again, and you're done. Like, these are super simple assessments. Just make sure consistency. We're using the same height every single time, same judging, completely unload, completely stand up, and get really good scores of consistency for us. Another thing that I think is beneficial too is a lot of people want to know what their number is ahead of time. I think that can be a good motivator, but also if someone doesn't beat their score, I think there is a likelihood or a temptation for them to fib their scores to not show that they didn't do well. And I'm not saying they're trying to be deceptive. They're just, in a lot of times, like, they don't want to show that they've lacked or they haven't. Maybe it's someone who hasn't been coming as often as everybody else has. And so when they get done and you're like, you did a 13, and they're like, I got a 12. Like, they might just say, I 13, I tied again. Like, a tie is better than going backwards, right? So you may or may not want to give them their scores. I would kind of lend towards not, but I will leave it to you. Some people find it very motivating and they want to beat their score. If someone asks, feel free to tell them. If they don't ask, I wouldn't tell them. Okay, there's our official stance on it. All right, gang, any comments, questions, feel free to hit me up. If not, continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. We'll see you next time. Take care.